Hey, this is Matt from EVANNEX Aftermarket Tesla Accessories. I'm here with a 2012 Tesla Model S Signature, but I'm sure you're much more interested in the Tesla Model 3. We're super fortunate and lucky to have a look at the car today. I'm going to take you through every single nook and cranny of this car, the exterior, the interior, the front, the trunk, storage space, the touch screen, etc., the whole thing. It almost feels like we're at Area 51, and this is like the X-Files, being able to see the car so early in the inception of production ramp that's going on right now at Tesla. But we are super fortunate to take a look at it, so I'll take you through every detail. Okay, the first thing I want to talk about is the front end of the Tesla, which went through two iterations. The front end first had a grille that looked like a black plastic nose cone. That was eliminated, I think, about a year and a half ago, and they put in sort of a new front end that got rid of that grille. In doing that, they created a little bit more of a sleek aerodynamic look that I feel like is a little more aggressive and a little bit more streamlined. They took that look from the Model S and they brought it over to the Tesla Model 3. And if you look at the Model 3, the front end is just beautiful. First thing you notice is that the logo itself is not integrated into the front end like it is in the Model S. Instead, it's here on the hood, which is a similar design effect that you see in the Tesla Roadster, which is Tesla's first car. I feel like the front end of this car looks like a Porsche Panamera. The side of the car looks like a Tesla Model S, and I think the Model S looks a bit like an Aston Martin. So you have some beautiful design cues here throughout the front end of the car. Okay, so what else can we learn about the front? One of the more interesting things about Teslas is you don't have an engine. You have a front trunk, aka the frunk. So you've got a decent amount of space here, I think, for a carry-on bag or knapsack or just basic storage, groceries, what have you. Not as big as the old Model S rear-wheel drive frunks, which were really deep and recessed. This frunk is a bit more shallow, but still gives great extra room. You've got one LED light over here. You've got a small mat as well. Okay. Now, where's the 12 volts, and where do you put in your window washer fluid? So Mike is going to take you through that piece.
We have, no, it's not window. It's not.
Go ahead. Yeah.
So a little bit different than the Model S and the Model X. If you ever needed to get into anything here on the Model 3, we have a couple bolts underneath here. You got your tow hook. A couple neat things, bolts. This whole piece will pop off. Now, it's just one big plastic piece compared to on the Model S, where you have a center piece, a couple side pieces. But to get to your 12-volt battery, you'll see that you have all your correct, whatever they're called.
Yeah.
Things. So 12-volt battery, windshield washer fluid.
And 12 volts on that side, which is different, right, than the Model S and X.
Yeah, so everything else is on the Model S is on the passenger side with the brake lines, all that stuff. So neat little thing. New hood design.
Yeah, new inside of the hood.
Here, so
yeah.
This is usually just a big flat piece on
the S and X.
On the S and X. In case you guys want to hear what it sounds like. And these just pop right back on.
Okay, and closing the frunk,
Beautiful.
There's a specific technique, if I'm not incorrect, right? You usually use two sort of hands and press down just like that. Here, we've got the intakes, right? We've got sensors, parking sensors. What is this for?
So
talk me through that.
Car is dead and you need to jump your 12-volt battery, you're just going to push the upper right-hand corner of this.
I think it's the other corner. Oh, no, that's right.
And this is just going to pop out.
Yep.
Little thing. And there's your jumper line to jump your 12-volt battery if the battery's dead. So we're just going to put this right back in. So piece just slides up in there. There you go.
There it is.
Nice and neat.
Okay, and then just from a design standpoint, your thoughts on the lights. What do you think?
The lights are really sexy. It's really nice. You have a lower LED, get some stuff in the middle, and then you have a top piece that just literally illuminates, which is really, really nice. It's different from the S or even the X. Very nice, nicely designed headlights. Clean, very functional.
And then down here, we've got somewhat of a grill to cool the battery, right? Yeah. So it's just a little bit of aero to take a look at, kind of a front air dam effect. Okay, now we're here at the side of the vehicle, and the first thing we'll notice is the sensor suite. So down here you've got, and by the way, this is already wrapped, so if you want to see what it looks like wrapped in a brushed, 3M brushed black wrap, vinyl wrap, you can take a look at what that looks like. Kind of a different look, but it looks pretty cool. Here you can see the camera. Then we move on to the side mirrors, which are up here. And if you look at the line of the side mirrors, it's just beautiful. This does look somewhat similar in design to the S and the X. You also have chrome here along the window. So you've got that chrome trim. Again, if you look here at the door handles, these are also wrapped black, just to get a look at what that looks like versus the chrome, which is the original color. Now for the big question, do the door handles come out to meet you like it does in the S and the X? And the answer is no. There's a slightly different mechanism, more of a manual mechanism to do it. So let's take a look at how that works. Close up, you can see. The trick is here, essentially you want to press this and then the door opens. You can do this with one hand, by the way. You can just go like that and then open. I think it's pretty cool. So there you have it. That's the sort of side area of the car. The other piece that I wanted to show you real quick is the sensor that's in the B pillar. So you've got an A pillar by the side mirror and then a B pillar right here, and you can see there's a kind of a hidden sensor cut out. And again, this will all work with Tesla Autopilot and eventually for hopefully level 5 self-driving cars. Okay, so let's take a look at the trunk area of the Tesla Model 3. The first thing you'll notice is there's no chrome strip that connects the taillights. And this is different than the Model S and the Model X. This is a much cleaner look that doesn't have that little bit of kind of decor or adornment that the Model S and Model X have. Also, there's a little bit of a lip here that almost gives the effect of a spoiler on the trunk. Again, very clean, but also a little bit sporty. Kind of gives a performance-oriented look to the rear of the vehicle. If we pan down a little further down here, you'll notice, of course, something very important. There is no tailpipe, right? No muffler, right? Exactly, no tailpipe. So you've got kind of a sleek look again with the single light here and the single light here. And again, a similar tail light look as you've got with the Model S or Model X. Also, the logo right here is inset, a bit curved, similar to the Tesla Model S logo. We actually took a look if it was the same size. It's slightly different, slightly smaller, and it looks great. Okay, now, in terms of the car, it looks like a hatchback, just like the Tesla Model S does. The difference is this is a regular trunk. If you look right here, you'll see there's kind of a break right here that opens up, and you've got a trunk. However, if we go inside the trunk, you'll see it's very deep. Mike is pulling down the seats, and you can see how much room there is. Certainly enough for a surfboard, mountain bike, couple kids, exactly. Maybe taking a nap in here when you're camping. But it's got a lot of room, a surprising amount of room. In addition to huge trunk space that stretches out all the way in here, if you look right here, there's a pole. Will you just look at it? And we open this up, and you've got an enormous cargo well. And this cargo well goes really deep. It's recessed really deep into the car. You could definitely put a suitcase, some bags, and some other things in here. If you take a look right here, this is the sort of space that you've got. Definitely super useful. You've also got, interestingly, let's come over here real quick. You've also got a little kind of pocket down here. Now, this is an area where we actually make, for the Model S, an aftermarket subwoofer. But there is a subwoofer in the trunk of the vehicle, and I'm going to pull Mojo over to take a look at it. Mojo, can I borrow you for a sec? Absolutely. Okay. And there we see Mojo.
What's up?
Okay.
So we do have an aftermarket, like you were saying, sub that goes over here for the Model S. On the Model 3, their sub with their premium sound is right there, with the amplifier nice and close. Now what is different from the Model S to this is, on the Model S, with this sub here, there's an opening down here that the airflow comes through. Don't have that in the Model 3, so basically I believe speakers just in here, they're using whatever they have in here for the bass, for the box. But still a nice clean setup. The sound is absolutely amazing.
Okay, moving over to the wheels, we've discovered some really cool things about the wheels. So I'm going to hand it off to Mojo. Okay.
So the cool thing, your car comes with this really neat little
Key device.
Key hook thing. You can stick it in, you pop it in, you turn it, and these just come right off. Wheel still looks good. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lug nuts. Pretty neat. This just pops on and off. Kind of neat little thing.
And that lug nut cover device was carbon fiber in the original prototype, I believe. But now it's just sort of a matte black. Yeah.
So we'll come up with some ideas for these also.
Work something to make that.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
we'll be able to change this up a little bit. So, but the cool thing today is, come over this way. Tesla Model S, Model X center caps fit in the middle, and we can do the black
lug nut covers.
EVANNEX
lug nut covers.
on there.
Yeah.
So we have two options. So you can go that way, boom, or you can go that way. Something new. I gotta go back to work.
This is the 19-inch Model 3 wheel, different than the 18-inch Aero wheel, which also pops off and has kind of a sporty look. I think the 19 is a lot nicer, but it depends on your own aesthetic preference. You will get more range out of the Aero wheel on the 18, but the 19 does look great. So hopefully these are some more kind of interesting options to kind of play with the wheels. Okay, just to show how charging works, I'm going to have my father, Roger, take you through the process a little bit.
The basic approach for charging on the Model 3 is pretty much identical to the approach for the Model S or the Model X. So there's really nothing different here. Again, you obviously need your charging cable. You also need a Model 3. Given that, you're ready to go. All we do is bring the cable close, press the top button, and the guy automatically opens. That little symbol there, rather than a lighted area, is what tells you that the car is receptive for a charge. We then take the cable, we simply plug it in, you'll note the color changes, and the green blinking light gives us an indication that charging is occurring. In order to stop charging or remove the cable, we simply press the top button. The car senses it, changes color to a light blue. Whoops, wait a minute, gotta press it, pull it out, and then the cover will close automatically after a few seconds. Let's see whether that happens. There it goes. Hi, I'm Roger from EVANNEX, and we're going to talk a little bit about the new center console for the Tesla Model 3. Some of you may know that I'm the guy who created the very first center console for Model S way back in 2012, 2013. It's done very well among Tesla owners, so I'd like to think I know something about center consoles. Given that, let's talk a little bit about Teslas. Let me start with a general comment. They've sort of hit it out of the park with this. There are some things that I might critique, but at the moment, let me just give you some basic facts. They've done a really excellent job. First, we see a very clean look, showing a top section, which we'll talk about in a minute, a central section, the cup holders, and of course, a rear section. So let's go through this one section at a time, show you where things are, how they work, and what the center console is really all about. Let's start with the top or forward-facing section. If we hit this button, we get a very smooth opening, and voila, we see a charger section, which in fact provides us with the ability to charge 2 phones. Okay, also represents a rather substantial opportunity for charging in a number of different ways. You'll note there are 2 plugs here, and these can be tuned to the phones that you have. You'll note in a few moments the USB connectors for these sit below here, and I'll show you those in a moment. But let's just leave it like that. So you pop your phone in here. Let me see if I can do that with my phone just to give you an illustration. And we are, oops, good to go. Here we go. There we go. The phone sits in there, and you can see that's an iPhone Plus, 7 Plus. 2 of those can fit with no problem at all. Now, let's leave that for a moment and talk about this central section. The central section is for storage. And if you'll note, we have a copious storage arrangement here that looks to be very deep. It's a hand deep, about 8 inches actually, or 9 inches deep. That means you can put a lot of stuff in here, but there's something else very interesting that happens. This section folds upward. So now we have even more storage, and we have access to the USB plugs. You'll note there are 2. But you'll also note there's no 12-volt plug. Now, before you jump to conclusions, that doesn't mean there isn't a 12-volt. It just means that it's not here. So for those of you who don't know where it is, I'll show you where it resides in just a moment. We have a rather large storage area, a little hump here. We have, again, a very deep storage area. You can see it's a full hand deep. And this thing all closes up very, very nicely. So again, this guy folds down. This guy folds here. And this guy folds up. And we're back in shape. The central area has no magic to it. It's just cup holders. It doesn't move. They're the standard Tesla cup holder shape. Very effective. And work rather nicely. Now for some new stuff. The armrest also serves as a top lid for still additional storage. We pop the armrest up, as you can see, and if we look in here, we see rather copious additional storage. Not quite as deep, almost a hand deep, and it also runs underneath here, you'll notice. Okay, so we have a fair amount of storage space. We also have now found the 12-volt connector, which sits back here. Okay, there it is. Right, so if you need 12-volt capability, it's there. Now, for those people who have posited that maybe this is a 2-piece arrangement, as best we can tell, it is not. It is a single piece with plastic. So there isn't a top and a bottom shelf here. It's just a single solid piece, integrated piece. This guy slips down very nicely like this, comes back up with a quick pull. You have access to 12-volt, access to storage. Tesla has done a very good job of designing a center console that serves the basic functionality that I first designed for Tesla Model S way back when. And that is storage, phone capability, and cup holder capability. Those are the 3 key aspects. that's the center console. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope we showed you some stuff you weren't aware of. Let's move on to other parts of the car. The dome lights press on and off, just as they do on other Tesla vehicles. Okay, kind of a toggle, work very nicely. Also, there's some dome lights in the rear, which, you know, are controlled when the doors open and close. This currently has dome lights off. If they're put on auto, they'll open and close. One of the very nice surprises about Model 3 is that it provides you with a lighted mirror, and that's very effective. And it's actually fairly large format lighted mirror, so you can see it's clear, it's not wavy, it works really, really well. So that's kind of a nice little feature that some people will get a significant amount of use from. Another interesting feature of this interior is the general dash, forgetting about the display itself. The bottom line is simply this. There's almost nothing on the dash. As you can see, there is a wood grain trim. There's no instrumentation. There are no buttons. There's this very cool and very high-tech venting system, which is used for air, providing you with a smooth and capable functionality for delivering air conditioning and heating to the inside passengers. You'll note, for example, that we can move the settings to change the height of the airstream. Move it closer, move it farther apart. That is really cool and really high tech. I've never seen anything like this in any other car. You can also, of course, increase the fan speed. You can set it on auto. And these controls, by the way, up and down and side to side, operate on both sides of the vehicle. And the air conditioning and fan output is quite strong, so you'll be able to control it very nicely, and so will your passenger. So if your passenger doesn't like a setting that's quite as strong or not blowing in their face or whatever, this is how you control it. So it's really quite capable. There is no binnacle. The binnacle is simply the place where normally one would have the speedometer and other functionality. There's nothing there. All of that capability sits here on this screen. Now, some people on the web have voiced concern about the fact that, well, you know, I'm going to have to look slightly to my right as opposed to looking at the road. My comment to you is simply this. You're going to have to look down to see information on the binnacle, or shift your eyes just slightly right and down to look at the display. There really is no difference. From an ergonomic point of view, and I have had some experience in ergonomics, there's virtually no difference between those two. You will adapt and adjust to this display technology with absolutely no problem. The point here being very clean, very modern, very Spartan interior dash capability. There is also, by the way, for those of you who are into audio, a long strip here with speakers along the front, right under the windshield, back over here. There are speakers in that strip. An entire video could be dedicated to the touchscreen. People laughingly said that Tesla vehicles in general are really computers on wheels. This car exemplifies that characteristic. Fundamentally, all functionality within the car is controlled via the touchscreen. Things as trivial as simply opening the glove box occur through the touchscreen. Bang, the glove box opens. So fundamentally, everything is controlled here. There have been writers who have suggested that the reason for that is because of preparations in the future for autonomous fleet driving. So the owner of the car will be able to control access to various car functionality via software. And that's really a very important capability. The ability to control your mirrors does not occur with a little mechanical operation here on the driver door, but rather simply by touching this and then using these multi-purpose controls on your steering wheel to control the mirrors. So for example, if I want to fold the mirrors, I can simply do that by hitting the fold mirrors function. And as you see, the mirrors fold nicely. If I want to unfold the mirrors, I simply hit that and they move, all controlled through the display. Okay. In addition, I have a rather cool functionality that I've never seen before. I don't think anybody has. And that is the control of the steering wheel via essentially a software input and these multi-purpose controls. If I want to move the steering wheel in and out, I simply rotate the right side thing, and as you can see, the steering wheel moves in and out. If I want it to move up and down, I rotate the left side and it moves up and down. I think a lot of this stuff is going to be upgraded before many of these cars hit the street. This car truly is run by software. As you can see by looking around the interior, there are almost no other controls, almost no mechanical controls. These two switches right here are the only thing that really come in, along with simple window controls. So we got a very cool car here. I think those of us who have ordered one are going to love this interior. It is amazingly clean, amazingly modern, and amazingly simple to use.